Good, and we are back to chat about the next part of this community safety concept. We've touched on the formal structures, government, and so forth, and then we touched on how to mobilize the community. And please have a look at the articles, the links that we put in the description. Follow back to them, read through there, and get in touch with Ian. By now, everybody knows Ian Cameron from Action Society and from firearms.co.za. And the next segment we would like to touch on is training. Why and what? What is important about that, Ian?
Yeah, thanks, Dion. I think as we mentioned in some of the previous discussions, training really forms a foundation for well-organized community structures. And without training, those structures cannot develop. And I think the other important part is that a lot of people, unfortunately, and I don't want to criticize their enthusiasm, but they're so excited about getting hands-on and seeing the action, if I can describe it that way, that they forget how important the training is. And the training should be 98% of the process, and the action is only 2% or less. I almost want to go as far as saying that every single patrol or activity you do in the community, you should link to some kind of training. So an example could be Dion and Ian goes on patrol tonight in the community. We check in on our community radio network. We tell people that we're going out on patrol. And the task that is automatically generated by our patrol system tells Dion and Ian that they need to look out for any white hatchback vehicles in the area that have got, I don't know, Free State number plates, something like that. And this could be a generic task, or it could be a real lookout that has been posted by law enforcement or private security in the area. The fact of the matter is it keeps your mind going and it makes you focus on different things. So it's not just a generic task of doing another patrol, driving the same road, getting used to your surroundings. You keep looking out for something else, and your system tasks you to do that. And you don't know whether it is a real task or not. But in order to stay part of the system, you must give feedback on what you looked for. And you actively then go and you search for whatever the system has tasked you to do. And that can form part of training. And then when we come to other kinds of training, is that how do you approach certain situations? Now, the little knowledge that I have, and I'm not a tactical expert of any kind, but the little bit of knowledge and the small bit of experience that I've had in previous years was that your training should actually become muscle memory. I don't think people always realize what the stress that many people who have been in awkward or difficult or dangerous situations, what the stress does to your body. I don't think they always understand that you cannot necessarily send a WhatsApp at that moment. Your fingers don't work properly. So everything you do goes into overdrive. You've got muscle memory. You've basically got a hell of a lot of brute strength, and all of your finer skills are missing in most cases. I'm not saying everyone. Maybe if you're Liu Prinsloo or someone, then you've got all the different skills. You never know.
And you struggle to pull Robbie and Joss.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe then you can. The point I'm trying to make, and maybe we can chat about that, is that you need some kind of formal training. And I think the different kinds of training that there are can be divided into different parts as well. I think to start with, it's crucial that you have decent communication training. Again, a lot of people may ask, but when can I get to go to a shooting a shooting range, or when can I hold a gun, or when can I wear my bulletproof vest, or when can I have a new, they love the gear and the look, and I also do. It looks great and it's fun, but that's not the foundation of the work. If you can't communicate, nothing else means anything. So I think that's the first part. How do you communicate in times of crisis? How do you speak over a radio? What are the different things you need to understand and know before you can, for example, coordinate a serious emergency? And what are the different types of communication that you have to your disposal? So that's the first segment. The next one would be, what can you and what can't you do in terms of legislation when it comes to patrols? So that's the second part. I don't think a lot of people always understand that they are not now, suddenly reservists of some sort. But legislation does allow you as a civilian to do certain things if you have the right reason to do them. And we have seen that with a lot of success. I mean, the work that you guys have done in many areas in terms of stock theft, when it comes to cooperation with the police, with private security, and with the community, is remarkable. So there's no reason why that can't work. And then we've got things like crime scene management, stop the bleed courses or first aid courses, etc. And all of those things can then be developed onto higher, better levels. I think the last thing, Dion, in terms of training, and maybe you want to say something about it too, but I think the last thing is that your training shouldn't stop once you've completed one course. So say, for example, you've got a loan operator level 1 course. That doesn't mean you are now a loan operator. You are part of the, I almost want to call it a fraternity. It seems to be becoming a culture among some people, which is fantastic. So you become part of that, but now you should be hungry for the next level and the next level. And it's a crucial thing in a community to have people have this sense of almost accomplishment, but also a natural kind of competition to achieve more. And if we do that properly, it is a natural deterrent to crime in the area, because they know that the community is well trained, well prepared, and well aware of what is happening around them.
Yes, indeed. Ian, I'm actually very glad that you mentioned all the other segments behind training, because as you said, the moment people hear training, they think punching, knives, throttling, and shooting. But we tend to forget about the other things. I mean, just using a radio under pressure. Do you understand how a radio works? So people need to understand we've got soft skills and then we've got the hard skills part of it. And I think that's just important, that people don't, the one is not superior to the other. Both are equally important. As you said, I can shoot like the best marksman, but if I can't communicate, then once again, I'm on my own.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think training, community as a whole, getting that structure going. So for that, please have a look on the links, look at firearms.co.za, get in touch with Ian. There's a lot of articles running on their website continuously. They're bringing out new articles almost daily. I don't think these guys actually sleep. They're just writing, which is good. But knowledge at the end of the day is power. And if you don't know, then ask the questions. Get involved in this chat of ours, get involved in this process and give us your opinions. But please, no Rambo stuff. We don't want to hear how you'll just go out and shoot everybody, because that's nonsense. Let's get a positive legal solution to this problem. So yeah, go out, get trained. Very important, very important. Anything else you want to add, Ian?
No, Dion, I think I want to encourage people to stay enthusiastic. Look for more different sources of information. Read up about it, whether it's through Fortis or firearms.co.za or Action Society. It really doesn't matter. Jump in, read more, ask questions, and be educated. It's also important, and this is the last thing I want to emphasize, is it's something that stuck to me. A lot of people always very stereotypically quote Art of War, and then they think they're Sun Tzu and they have all these, but there's one specific thing that really stuck to me, is that there's one part where it reads, appear weak when you are strong and strong when you are weak. And something I want to say is that I noticed in many, especially in many rural areas, you walk around in, for example, a CBD of a small town, and you would see one person and it stands out like a sore eye with this massive firearm on his side, openly and exposed, with hundreds of people walking around. And then the cherry on top is that individual is walking around sending messages on his phone, not even thinking about the fact that he's got an exposed firearm on his side. Now, apart from it not being legal to walk around like that openly, you have got no element of surprise or any form of advantage for anyone in that community. In fact, you're probably posing more of a danger to yourself than anyone else. So with this, with the training, I want to encourage people to be responsible firearm owners. I want them to always have the advantage, always have the initiative. And if we keep the initiative on our side, there's no reason why we can't win.
Great stuff. We'll expand on these talks and on this chat and this topic specifically, but we will also have other talks about firearm legalities. What are the ins and outs? How can you go about obtaining a firearm? How many firearms can you own? What are the legal processes behind that? And all obviously, can I and am I allowed to legally defend myself? So have a watch, keep a lookout on the channel. We'll start posting content regarding that. And sorry, I don't know what's happening here now. I'm getting all emotional about training. It's just what it is. I'm going to cry just now. So from my side, Ian, thank you for your inputs. Highly appreciated, valuable inputs that you give us. And as always, nice chatting to you.
Dion, thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thanks.